Squirrels are some gangsters, yeah.
Yeah. um, 4.
4.
It's episode 4. This is 4.
Episode 4.
Okay.
All right. Welcome everybody to episode 4 of the Jacob Gaspard podcast. Again, today I got special guest Brandy Gaspard, my lovely wife, on here. And today we're going to be talking about the 5 closest people to you and the importance of who those 5 people are. Because it was, I think Zig Ziglar had said, if you let me see the 5 closest people to you, I can tell you all about you, your character, the way you handle yourself, those kind of things.
And your future.
And your future. Because we get influenced by the people around us. So you could imagine when someone cuts you off in traffic, for me, it puts me in a bad mood. I say bad words, like, because they're driving on my road, like there's other issues with that. But people that I don't even know could influence me. Someone could cut me off or take the last, roll of toilet paper during COVID-19 and I'm stuck with nothing. So that person now has influenced my day, and then that in turn is going to influence the people closest and nearest to me. So your 5 closest people, this is your spouse, this is your best friend, this is people you may work with. The 5 closest people in your life, especially that speak into your life, are going to greatly impact your life. And it's so important to make sure that those people are comprised of people that want to help get you to where you want to be. Those people need to be able to speak into your life to help move you along that path. So let's talk about examples. Again, we had a podcast where we talked about fitness and how being unhealthy and healthy, there's differences. So of course we made changes in our life, and now we also want to talk about the changes that we made in our life that include relationships.
Absolutely.
So what differences, let's talk about the old us and the people that used to influence us, and don't mention any names. We're not gonna talk about names.
Okay.
I'll have a hit out on me, but good luck with that. Anyway, a story for another day.
Bring it back.
The squirrels. So
Examples.
right. So tell us about that. How the people that impacted our life, or you specifically, or you can talk about us both, and the old us.
The old us. Well, I guess what I can really say about people influencing your future, your beliefs, all those things, your mood, as a married couple, if we were to surround ourselves with people who did not value marriage and the sanctity of marriage, then we would be really influenced by people who don't have the same goals to have a happy marriage as we do. So if I had an issue with you and I went to someone who doesn't see the value in being married, well, they could easily influence me to not honor you and not be a good wife to you because they don't see it as important. So I have to make a choice to surround myself with mostly women who value their marriage as much as I value mine. And I would hope that you would surround yourself with men who honor their wives and are going to influence you to do the same and value your marriage in the same way.
Right. Because in the world we live in, it's so, they don't, I say they, society is trying to eliminate God and God's teaching in the Bible from everything. And I mean, look what they did with the way God says marriage is supposed to be set up versus what society's doing with it now. I think a guy married his dog the other day. Like, what kind of shit is that? It makes no sense. But it's true. I wonder how many divorces happen just because I got a problem with my wife and,
The friend says, oh.
right,
God.
she don't, just for example, she don't want to give me sex. Hell, go get it
Go get
from
it
somewhere
somewhere.
else.
Yeah, I don't want you to have
that's unhealthy.
I don't want you having friends who are gonna shove pictures of naked women in your face, say, "Hey, look at this."
Right.
That's not what I would choose for you. No.
Right. That's the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want someone, if I'm having trouble with my wife, and let's use that same example. She don't want to give me sex. Okay, there's a problem there. It's not the lack of sex. There's something more that probably we both need to work on. But there's some fault in me that's giving you a certain response, that's making you take a certain action and do something to act that certain way. And likewise, when it's reversed. So there's always something within us and ourselves that need to be changed
right
with that. So, and that's the difference between having the right people. So those people, that specific circumstance can either lead to growth and having a happy and healthy marriage and talking about, how good it could be, or it could mean total destruction.
right
Divorce,
100%.
losing the love of your life, and you can really love that person, but you'll justify that action. I mean, we both been divorced. We both done. God, for 30-some years I did dumb stuff.
We still do dumb stuff.
Right. But our dumb stuff's a little bit different
Yes.
now. It's not destructive. It's not gonna, deconstruct our family. The dumb stuff I do now is, putting my truck in my father-in-law's crawfish pond, and he has to deal with all the damage that I caused to it. That's the kind of dumb stuff I do, which is dumb, but not destructive. It could be fixed. So, and last week we talked about health. So health and fitness, where if you don't have the right people there, just eat the burger, just eat the, bacon, just eat the, fill in the blank, whatever it is, just drink this,
Just sleep in.
Just sleep in. It doesn't have to be something serious. It could be something, which health is serious, but it could be something just like that. Just go ahead and sleep in. You don't have to do it. You can skip one day. I'm not that person. I can't skip one day. Like if I either have to do it all the way or it's not at all.
Right.
Now I do take skip days and rest days because those are important, but in my mind it's an action.
It's a scheduled rest day.
Yeah, rest is an action for me. Like I have to do today I'm resting. It's a on purpose action. Right.
Yes.
Very intentional. But those people around me understand that. And when I look at the 5 people that's closest to us as a married couple compared to 10 years ago, oh my God, there's a huge difference in the character of those people. Some of them are the same.
Our circle has changed.
Yeah, circle has changed.
And gotten smaller.
Right, a lot
Very
smaller.
much. So I'm addicted to certain shows on TV, right? He makes fun of me for my TV show, my choices. But Intervention is one of my favorite shows to watch. I don't know why. It's just something about it. And the show Intervention is always about 1 or 2 people who are addicted, usually to some type of a drug. Sometimes it's alcohol. There's been a few that have been addicted to things like food, but usually it's a drug. And usually their life is completely devastated by the drug. And every single episode, they always flash back to when they were a normal kid and their parents are talking about how they had a normal life. Some of them have been abused in some way. They had something traumatic happen to them, but most of the time, the parent always says at some point they fell into the wrong crowd. Almost every single time. And when they start on that path, they just start hanging out with the wrong people. They were normal, started hanging out with the wrong people, now their life is devastated. Now it took years to get that way, but that's almost always the starting point. That they just started hanging out with the wrong people.
Surrounding themselves with the wrong people. And I mean, so of course we're Christians, we look at the Bible, and I believe that Solomon was probably the wisest man and
right.
Most successful person ever to live.
Mm-hmm.
So he had wise advisors. So he had people around him
mm-hmm.
to help him make decisions and make sure, like, to kind of gauge and set the boundaries for certain people. And those are important. Like, you gotta have those people, because again, I don't know if it was Zig or John Maxwell where I heard this from, but if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And damn, I don't want to live a fast life. Like, I want to live a long, successful, joyful, prosperous life.
Right.
So I need to have people surrounding me that's going to encourage me on that journey. And again, I want to make it clear, not tell me what I want to hear, not trying to make me happy.
Right.
Like, love comes in the form of
True.
The rod sometimes. Mm-hmm. And yeah, truth is ugly sometimes, And look, I go through things all the time. I mean, I'm walking through stuff right now that when that truth comes in, and it's things that she's told me, that make me look in myself and realize, oh crap, I didn't realize this, and I have to face this, and you got to look inward, and you've been living with that, like I've lived with things for my entire life that I didn't even know I had built a callus to it, to where I thought I was handling it, and I wasn't. And it took someone who wanted the best for me to call that out of me. And then when that happens, well, it's painful. You have to grow through it. Mm-hmm. But it's only in pain, it's when we get that resistance, it's when we are uncomfortable that we grow. And again, one of my mentors mentioned this, and he said, if you seek comfort, life will deliver you pain. But if you seek discomfort, life will deliver you comfort. And it's
because you get comfortable with the discomfort.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to understand.
Yeah.
And he mentioned one time that he woke up in the middle of the night. It was like 1 a.m. It was like, he lives up north. It was like 30 degrees outside, and he had a pool that was it was icing over. So he woke up in fear because he felt comfortable, and he was like, what can I do to create discomfort in my life right now? And he chipped the ice off that pool, and he jumped in that water and sat on the bottom of his pool. And like, how could you, I mean, right, that's terrible. And he has a cold bath, which is 40 degrees, and I got in it, and I stayed in it for seconds, and I had to get out. And he did that because he knew he had to make himself uncomfortable right now. Now, don't do what he does. That's extreme. I'm not saying go jump in some cold water. It could cause a heart attack or whatever. Don't do any of that. Check with your doctor first. But the point is, we have to have that discomfort in our lives, and the only way, for many years I thought, the people who wanted the best for me would encourage me to make me feel good, because it's what I wanted. I wanted someone to agree with me, and those people are the wrong people. You got to have somebody to call you out. Like, we make these videos, and Heidi's sitting over here, and I'm thinking, I hope this video is good, because I want to try my best, because I do not want her to tell me this was shit and I need to redo it. Mm-hmm. But I know in my heart, if she tells me you need to redo this, it's because she wants the best for me.
And she knows you can do better.
She knows I could do better. Mm-hmm. If she thought that this was the best that I could do,
right,
then she wouldn't even worry about it.
Yeah.
Like, as a coach, we coach softball players, and that, like, the people who get, who the coaches are always on their butt to, do this, do that, come on, I know you got more than that.
That's because they know you.
They know you got more than that.
Yeah.
And some of the other people, they're like, that same person, he's, so I was one of the coaches where the head coach was doing this to a girl, and that girl came to me and was like, so-and-so never gets fussed at. I said, well, so-and-so never sees the field. So-and-so is never going to play ever their entire career in high school because they don't try. And the reason that she's not getting fussed at and ridden like you are is because she don't have it and you do, and coach knows that you can even push harder.
Yeah, he sees the potential.
Right. When you have so much potential and it's not being used, you need someone there to push you, call it out, to challenge you. And sometimes it's being pissed off to do it,
Yeah,
like,
sometimes you just need somebody to tell you being stupid.
right.
Yeah.
Like she does this to me all the time. Like, it's not, it's like, look, we laugh and we cut up, and Heidi says that she gets, seeing us together, how we laugh, and everybody says that, like they just think we get along and everything's perfect, and like I say something and she laughs at it like it's the greatest thing, and that's not what happens. It's like the opposite of what happens.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And I get called out because being stupid, and I'm like, man, the hell with that. Like I don't even want to hear that. But I'm wiser now. So I might, in the heat of the argument or the conflict or whatever was going on, I might be like, no, I'm not listening to that. But I go along and I'm like, man, what did she say? Like, what she's talking about right here? Let me reevaluate what I'm doing. And then I realized that she spoke the truth. Mm-hmm. Because she knows I can do better. She knows I can be better. And it's not about, again, like we talk about success as, what do we want? Like, I want the mansion. I want, $20 million in the bank. I want the bass boat. I want the wife. I want the whatever you want as success. You want people around you. It's not to try to help you get those things. It's to try to help you become the person that you need to be to attain those things.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's huge.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to be, like we talk about being a dad, so I think I'm a good dad. And, I want to do everything that I want to be like those dads that, their kids just love and all of that, like, well, why my kids don't do that to me? Well, if that's happening to you, you need to ask, who are you being to your kid? You need to be that level of dad that your kids do that for.
And you need to surround yourself with good dads.
Right. Right. Like, again, like I got to talk about my mentor. So a lot of times we don't do things right because we don't consult with the people near us. So like sometimes things will happen in our home and I'll just like fly off the handle and take things to a level of discomfort in our home, to put it lightly, that everybody's agitated with. And that's not good. So I went to my mentor and we talked through this, and actually I talked to two, and Tom had told me to take emotion out of it. Because if you take emotion out of it and you deal with the action and the consequence with no emotion, it's very simple and easy.
Right. Yes.
Like, you do this. If this is not done, or if this, whatever you need the children or people, like a spouse, it doesn't matter, to do, co-worker, or for your boss and you got employees, whatever it is, make them do, they know what they have to do, make it clear, and if it's not done, here's the consequence. And instead of getting mad and being like, what the hell, man? Because I'm an emotional guy, so that's the first thing that I do. So I started taking emotion out of it, and we agreed, hey, if our daughter does this, or if she don't do this, here's the consequence. And then all of that happened. And you'll be surprised when you take the emotion out of it and have the discussion with your child, how the action or what you want done gets done, because there's no emotion. And so that kid was driving on my emotion, being like, oh, he's stupid. But we take the emotion out and was like, okay, here it is. Here's your bills. Here's whatever it is. Here's the rules. And if you don't do this and this, and then it's simple,
this.
right? And my God, it changed quick. So again, my mentor, I'm not going to mention him, but he had, I think he got emotional one night. He woke up and every cabinet in his home was open, and they had crumbs and pans. Like the kids woke up like 2 or 3 in the morning or middle of the night and cooked and left everything a total disaster. So what he did, he woke up and saw this stuff, and I think he got emotional with it, and he chained the refrigerator closed and literally had ropes and chains and tied the entire cabinet system that he has shut and padlocked it, and the kids could not get in. Mm-hmm. And when I heard this, I was like, okay, I think that's a little bit extreme, and
excessive.
It's a little excessive, and his kids were so determined to get in it that they had Googled and to keep track of the passwords. Like it had a combination lock, and she had already tried like 4,000 lock combinations to try to get in, and she couldn't get it when he woke up and found her. And that was, one of those things that's a little extreme. I think he should have consulted with someone, specifically Tom in that situation, about taking emotion out of it. But again, we get so tied up. So like when someone close to me now corrects me, I might get emotional, but I know it's on me. I know it's my responsibility. Before, if someone tried to correct me, and I had a friend who tried to correct me years ago, and it actually ended our friendship for a time because I did not want to listen to what he said. I didn't want to hear him. I didn't want to explain what I was doing. I wanted no part of what he was trying to do, and he was really trying to help me, but it hurt. It was painful. I did not want to hear it. Mm-hmm. And years later, I realized I was wrong, and I went and I apologized to him for it. And he was my best friend, and we're still best friends. But that relationship ended for quite some time because of it. And remember that, like the people closest to you, it's gonna hurt sometimes. If they're the right people, it's gonna hurt. It's not always gonna feel good. And likewise, we had people that were nearest us that were, helping us justify things that we would do wrong. Yeah. That's terrible. Oh my God, you don't want that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because then you could do anything. Mm-hmm. Like, man, that dude, did something to my wife. Well, I'm gonna kill him. You got a friend that help you justify. Yeah, go get you.
Here's my gun.
Here's my gun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I would do. It's terrible. You want somebody to say, well, hey, what's next? What are you gonna do? How can I help you? How can you grow out of this?
Yes.
Not violence. As fun sometimes as violence is. What else that you have, like 5 closest friends? And we will revisit this because this is things that's going to come up with multiple subjects, as well as we did fitness. And hell, man, our entire lives intertwine.
Yeah. I think you just have to remember you want to surround yourself with like-minded people. If you are somebody who has a growth mindset and you're trying to grow, you're trying to be better, personal growth, financial growth, whatever it is, you don't want to surround yourself with people who have a limited mindset, who their mindset is always, I can't afford this, or we can't do this, or we'll never be able to reach this. You want people around you who have reached their own goals, who have conquered their own mountains, all those things, so that you can learn from them and be encouraged by them and gain their wisdom. Yeah. You want people who have been there before. Yeah. Rather than, taking advice from someone who has no idea.
Right.
how to get there, or not that they might not have a few bits and pieces, but
Yeah, like the 20-year-old life coach.
the 20, right. And so, you know, in marriage, for instance, when we have an issue that we can't, we just can't work through. There's just something you and I, we just can't see eye to eye. We have to be very wise with who we choose to go to. I'm not going to just go to my best friend who's currently going through a divorce, not, you know, if I had one, because she's going to be biased and she's going to want to sway me in the same way. It's just, that's human nature.
Right.
So we need to choose, you know, usually for us, it's our pastor who always has wonderful words of wisdom. He's been married for I don't know how many years. He's been through so many things. Who I think he almost got a divorce and then they reconciled. And so he has been through the ups and the downs and financial hardships. He can really look into us and help rather than somebody who has never been there.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's important, like you said, find people that has been there before. So like if you want to be super successful, if you want to be that person who writes the big checks to your church, if you want to be the person who goes on mission trips, it's not all about money.
Right.
But whatever you want to do,
the good dad.
right? The good dad. Find people that are good dads.
Good husband.
Because here's the thing: like we all gauge success differently.
Right.
So, I've had a bunch of success in my life, and I have a bunch of failures. I have a bunch of things that I'm still working on. I have things that we're rebuilding. We have it's like we're all at different levels within our own lives. So don't feel like you're not good enough to reach out to someone, or like that person wouldn't give me the time of day, because there's a person here in town who I'm not gonna mention his name, but he's super successful, has a yacht somewhere, has a G6 jet, and literally I reached out to this guy, never met him before. I reached out to him on social media and I said, I just want to have dinner, have lunch with you, and just thank you and talk about it, because he was inspiring to me, and literally that's all I wanted to do. And now he's been mentoring me now. And that's literally how it works, because that person who's made it wants other people to make it too. Because people who are successful in whatever area of life, any area of life, it doesn't matter. It could be the good dad, it could be super rich, it doesn't matter. People who have made it want to take other people with them. They do not have a scarcity mindset. They don't believe, like I don't believe, like I'm a good dad, I'm successful in business, I'm whatever you think I am, that I don't believe like it's limited. I don't have that limited mindset. You know, if you need to reach out to Brandy and find out how to be a good mom and how to be a good Christian woman and how to be a good wife, like she didn't have a limited mindset thinking like, well, I don't want anybody else to have what I have. So right. I'm like, no, she wants to teach other people to say, hey, look, here's the trail that I went on. You may be able to walk on some of it. You may have to blaze some of it yourself, but she'll help you through that. And the same with me, and the same with the mentors that I have. Literally, some of the 5 people that three or four of the 5 people that I have nearest me right now, besides my wife, are people who are super successful. And we're that close now because I just asked them. And they're like, yeah, let's go, let's sit, let's talk.
Yeah.
You know, so like if you're scared to reach out, don't be. Like reach out to those people, because those people want to help you. Those people want to take other people with them. That's why they're successful. That's literally why.
It's why they're successful. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like it's part of what I think as like the tithe. You know, like when the Bible said, literally, that's what God said, test me on it. Mm-hmm. You know, when you give a portion, 10% specifically of your first earnings back to God. And well, part of that is what they do. So you know, they want to take other people with them. They want to carry you with them. That's part of the same thing.
Right.
You know, that's their value. That's their, you know, when they make it, they want to give some away. And it's not like, we're not just talking money. We're talking wisdom, which is way more valuable than money. So reach out to those people. Reach out to me. Reach out to Brandy. We can help you and walk with you along the way. And in fact, you know, if we're not the ones meant for you, we can help guide you and help you reach out to those people. Because they're out there, they do want to help you. But make sure that whatever portion of life or whatever area of life that you're trying to grow in, and you want to be that certain person, make sure that you surround yourself with other people like that. You know, don't be stuck in like this is the hand I was dealt, so I'm just gonna stay here.
And you don't have to cut out those people from your life completely who don't see things the way that you do, or you just have to know their role in your life and don't let it be one of influence.
Yeah.
You know, you may have to limit the amount of time that you spend. You know, if it's a family member, you don't want to cut them out. You just may limit the amount of time that you spend with them, and know that you don't want them to be an influencer on you in your life.
Right. No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's important to understand. You can't, because there's some people that you have to deal with, but they don't have to influence you.
Right.
You know, so you can and know the difference in that. So it's like, it's kind of like where we set up circles, you know, and certain people in certain circles.
Exactly.
So our inner circle, you know, of course, is us, you know, and then that next circle is, you know, the people, our 5 people that we go to. Then the circles around it, you know, maybe people that we work with, or people that we just have fun with, or, you know, if I, you know, I play music, so if I'm going to play music,
Right.
those people, I enjoy being around them.
Yeah, but they're not influencers.
They're not influencers of me, but I influence them because, like, they talk about things while we're at a show, and I'm like, yeah, that's not exactly why I'm here, or that's, you know, whatever it is. Right. And they're like, oh, well, really? What? So then we start talking about it. So be aware of the people that you influence as well. So the words coming out your mouth, you know,
right?
You just gotta. Words are no neutral, you know.
That's right.
So coming in and going out. So anything else?
My stomach's growling.
Stomach's growling. So it's time to eat. So we're gonna go get us something to eat. All right, so we hope you enjoyed this. If you think it adds value, go ahead and share it on all your social media platforms. Text it to all your friends. Thank you for letting me get exposed to you. And Brandy, thank you for being on this.
You're welcome.
And I do appreciate you coming and add some value, because you add so much value to me. I imagine other people can gain from it as well. So again, if you like us, make sure that you go and like this video, subscribe to the video on YouTube, and like us on Facebook and Instagram, all the social media platforms, and make sure that you go and listen to this or whatever podcast platform that you listen to it on. We'll talk to you soon. This concludes episode 4 of the Jacob Gaspard podcast.
Okay.
You nervous?
No,
Don't be nervous. Like, look at that squirrel. That dude's just jumping.
No,
like, if he falls, like, he's going all the way to that deck.
He's not worried about it,
He
though.
don't give a shit.
Mm-mm.